would you like to have a haircut today? Maybe Naomi could turn it around.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Grandpa.
Good morning.
Have a good night?
Yes.
Kind of. Yes.
Did you get some sleep?
You got, oh, yeah. Yeah, big time. That was good. But, yeah, first of all, any questions from yesterday? Comments? Rebuttals?
I really like what you just said at the end about the word perfect in Greek.
Yes.
It doesn't mean flawless.
Right.
And that is really cool.
It takes a lot of pressure off, because oftentimes we'll get into it, we oftentimes beat ourselves up, right? We're our own worst enemy, because if anybody else talked to you like you talk to you, you want to fight them. So we have a tendency to be very hard on ourselves. And then the mandate is you got to be perfect. And you go, yeah, that's close. That's not much chance for that. And so yeah, it doesn't mean that at all in terms of not making mistakes or whatever. It simply means grow into your potential. Whatever potential God's given you, your responsibility is to make sure you maximize it. So, okay, well, let's carry on then. We'll jump right in. I think I mentioned briefly, but I'll just to let you kind of set the stage. You guys are the Z generation, is that right? Sometime born between 1997 and 2012-ish. So are you're...
I am 1996.
Oh,
I'm not sick.
well, yeah. Close enough. So the Z generation has a lot of characteristics. And you may have heard some of them. So what are some of the characteristics that you have heard about your generation? Yes?
Short attention span.
What's it?
We have short attention span.
Yes, short attention span. Anybody else? What else have you heard about yourself? Mark?
That they want the truth, or like honest.
Yeah,
Instead of just,
yeah.
like, honesty, yeah.
Authenticity.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm authentic. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
We want everything fast.
Yes. We want everything now.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes.
Lazy.
Lazy.
Oh.
I've heard that. That's not nice. You guys are. Yes.
We love to experiment new experiences,
Yes.
like traveling, these kind of things.
Yep. You like adventure, risk, sort of things. Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. You like.
We've lived our entire lifetime in a digital age, pretty much.
Exactly. Yeah. So you guys are totally digitalized, as it were. Everything is, and that's part of it. I think when everything happens now, because back in the day, when we lived in Egypt, I would write an aerogram. Back they had the things you write on them, like letters, but then you fold them up, and I'd put it in the mail. It would take 6 weeks to get to the United States. And then my mom or whoever would read it, write another letter. It would take 6 weeks to get back. So, for me on the internet, if it's not instantaneously, I'm going, that's not bad. So, it used to take 12 weeks to get an answer to a question. So, a few milliseconds isn't that bad. Yeah. Let's carry on. Yes.
Just that we're like very self-focused
Yes.
and self-centered.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's done so. Good.
I don't know if it counts for everyone, but in Norway we are kind of generation perfection.
Yes.
Like we want to be good in all areas of life. So before it wasn't really normal to have like a sporty, nerd, popular, wealthy person combined, but now you're supposed to be everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot lot of that, I think, has to do with the internet and what you're, because what you're exposed to on that is like on TikTok, what is it, 30 seconds, or, you know, in a lot of it, you get a 30-second glimpse. And, you know, if you spend enough time making it up and putting it just right, you can come across for 30 seconds as being really cool, right? What you don't know is what happens the rest of their life. Behind the scenes, they may just be a total disaster, but you don't know that. So all you're getting is these flashes of really perfection, right? They're really good at everything, and I'm not good at that much, so I'm a horrible person, sort of thing. Often, yes, yeah.
And there is also this, the Z generation are so much seeking for the truth
Yeah.
that they have realized that all the things around them are not satisfying enough. So they are pretty, in my opinion, open to the gospel, contrary to older generations.
Yeah, yeah, it's true, yeah.
True.
I think they seem to be open to spirituality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
more.
And that's the key, yeah, yes.
It's kind of what I would say, they're really open or looking for meaning. and
Yeah.
Purpose.
Exactly, yeah, that's a big one, looking for meaning or purpose.
We
Again,
value,
Aberdeen, is that close enough? Okay.
we value diversity.
Yeah, say that again?
We value diversity
Diversity, okay, value diversity, okay.
in a good way.
Yeah, right, yeah, gotcha. Yes,
We live in a more polarized world. I don't know if that's not, if it has something to do with agency, but yeah, it's a fact.
it is, no, and that's a good observation, it's a really good observation, because, when we get into postmodernism, we'll explain why that is. That in general, the world is polarized. There's not a lot of common ground for conversation, right? You've got two extremes, they don't talk to each other, and if you do, then you're canceled, the cancel culture. If you don't agree with what I say, you're out.
Yeah.
That's good, good observation, thank you. Yeah, any more? Yes,
I heard
Jack. Charles.
Yeah. Was self-described most lonely generation.
Yeah, indeed, very, very much so, yeah.
Also really depressed.
Depression, yep.
Mental health is-
You guys, are way up there on depression. Way to go. That's yes.
I think we are also a generation of perspective. Like everybody says, yeah, that's the truth for me, but you can have another perspective. So
Yeah.
it's
Rebecca,
very
right?
tolerant. Yeah.
Rebecca?
Yeah.
Okay. You can say that in 5 languages, right? But good point, yeah, that's exactly right. Aberdeen?
We don't really think we have a future. Like, the future is very not clear because of the global warming and stuff like that.
Yeah, the
It's
future's
hard
pretty.
to think about the future.
Yeah, and one of the reasons there's such depression is because you guys have been told, you're killing the world, you're killing the earth, right? We're all killing the earth. There's no hope. It gets really dark. And you go, well, that's not very good. What are we walking into? What are we going into? And oftentimes the story isn't very positive. It's like pretty much negative in terms of disaster is at hand, it's coming. You like?
I think we're also like one of the most like impacted by like identity crises, or like we have like probably some of the like a lot of people who like struggle with identity and like whatever matter, like whether it be gender, just like self, like value, whatever, a whole bunch of different.
Yeah, and especially if you can be anything you want, and it's no limitation. You can be whatever you want to be, whatever you think you are, and so that gets confusing. Yes.
We're also, I don't know, we're kind of like desensitized to tragedies, I feel like. Like, I don't know, most of us were born around or after, or like right before 9/11, and like that kind of stuff. And experience like all the crime rates just going up, but it's like our normal.
Mhm.
I feel like as a generation, we're kind of like desensitized to those things, and like violence and that kind of stuff. We're just like, oh yeah, it's just kind of normal. And everybody around us is like, this is horrible. We're kind of like, well, yeah, it is horrible,
Yeah.
but we haven't seen anything otherwise.
Well, it is true. I think that there's a definite impact on us because even like in World War One, you know, you never had, you read stories, you didn't even have many film clips, you just, and then
Yeah.
World War Two,
We're
you got some
seeing
pictures,
things.
it was still, it was distance. But now, almost minute by minute, you can follow Gaza, you know, and the destruction that's going on, or the Ukraine, or all these horrible events are right here all the time, you know, so it makes it pretty tough to stay positive with that. Jack?
I think that we are one of the most separated from each other. I think a lot of the time we don't, like, diversity is a big thing, but I think that we honestly spend so much time with people exactly like us that we don't know how to branch out.
Yeah.
And also, like, that's just what the world promotes.
And statistically, you're correct, because what they're finding now in the workplace, that the Z generation doesn't play well with others.
Yeah.
You don't like team stuff. You know, you like to do it on your own
Yeah.
and figure stuff out. But that's good observation. Okay, one more. Yeah, John.
Also a generation with dreams.
Dreams?
Yeah,
Yes.
this is maybe my own observation. I don't know if it's like in general, but
Wait.
in my surroundings, like my generation has way more dreams than Jaden older generation.
Yeah.
They kind of lost it, or just
Yeah.
Do you mean like
So-
actual physical dreams, or do you
No,
mean
no,
like
like
having big
dreams for life.
ideas?
Big
Okay.
ideas.
Aspirations.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Right.
like ambitious or like
Yeah,
big,
yeah, ambitious.
like, huh?
Yeah, having a dream of the future or a vision of the future where you do really well, you become, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. And, well, you know what? That's pretty accurate. Actually, very, very accurate and very perceptive. So what's happened in the postmodern world is that because of the kind of disorientation, the tearing down of the idea of truth, absolute reason, all these kind of things, as it spreads itself out, it's hard to know how to orient yourself, right? It's hard to know if there's no direction, or if you're not going anywhere, how do you know which way you want to be pointing? What are you aiming at? And the goals are pretty foggy out there. There's not a lot of positive stuff. And so what I've observed, and by the way, I say I'm learning more from you guys than you are from me this week, because you're the Z, and I say my grandkids are right on the edge of that coming up, and so I'm all ears to hear what you have to say. But what I've observed and experienced is that the disorientation is a form of lostness. And I think a lot of times that's the feeling you get, that angst, that dread, that kind of, not real, it's sometimes fear, but it's more like, this doesn't look very good. And what do I do with my life? And how do I get to where I want to go? And I'm probably never going to make as much money as my parents, right? I'm probably never going to do it. And so, how this started is I was sitting down with my granddaughter and saying, Sophia, here's what you got to do to prepare yourself, to orient yourself into what you're going. And so it started with that, and then it sort of blossomed out a bit. And so now you guys are the guinea pigs, so we'll see how it goes, huh? Okay.